Welcome back to the Open Table Sports Podcast, everyone. I'm the kid, Matt Degnan. This is Dom Caps. We're holding it down as always on the Open Table Sports Podcast. It is now episode 21. We're going to get started with a kickoff talk as always. We're going to get right into Redskins linebacker Reuben Foster tore his ACL in the first rep of OTAs on Monday. He'll be out for the rest of the 2019 season. It sucks. It happened on like the first play of OTAs on Monday. He got carted off the field. It was bad from the beginning because I heard he was like crying or whatever. So it didn't look good. This is a big hit for him, but this also shows if you don't play for a long amount of time, you're bound to get hurt because your body's not ready for it.
Yeah, I heard it was a weird. It was like a weird, I think he stepped on a teammate's ankle, and it just kind of, his leg went the wrong way, and that's it.
See, sometimes that stuff happens. You see it in any sport. You see it in basketball a lot. Guys going for rebounds, guys blocking out shots. You see it in football and pileups. You don't really see it in any other sport. Occasionally in MLB, but that only happens at like first base when the throw. But that happens maybe once a week, if that.
Yeah,
Hockey, you really never see that. People stepping on other people because how many times are their feet coming off the ice?
yeah. Hockey, it's mainly like upper body injuries that get you.
Yeah. Just a big blow for the Redskins. He was supposed to be like a key, part of their defense, and now that's a huge part taken out.
There was all
Who
that
knows how he would
controversy.
have produced, though? That was the major question, was his production. But his upside was crazy when he came into the NFL, but then all those things happened where he kept getting arrested.
Yeah, they had the whole controversy last season. I think we talked about that. That was like one of our first episodes when we talked about the Reuben Foster and how we thought, maybe he shouldn't have even been signed to a team, how the
Yeah,
Redskins might have been pretty dumb. But
yeah,
yeah,
back in the early episodes.
yeah. So now, he's not going to see a snap this year, and who knows what's going to happen in the future for him because he's going to have to go a whole year now without even touching the field.
A whole nother year, and he's already had limited time as it is.
So it's going to be kind of
So
hard for him to have any upside now. I mean,
yeah, I can't see him doing much after this.
yeah,
Between an injury like this plus his pass, I don't see him producing as much. I mean, he might. There's no question about that. He could produce, but the way it's looking right now, probably not. I mean,
and
that's a
now,
big blow for the Redskins. He was probably going to be their biggest signing of the offseason.
yeah, now I mean, he's had the problems with getting arrested. Now he's going to be off the field more. I mean, that's even more of a risk of him, maybe slipping up again.
Yeah. Crazy NFL. The Buccaneers released defensive tackle Gerald McCoy. He will visit the Browns today and possibly sign. Um, the Buccaneers signed defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh to a 1-year, $9.25 million contract. All of this ties in together. So it's weird that they released Gerald McCoy and then signed Sue, but Sue is less money.
Yeah,
But they have Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh under contract for less than what Gerald McCoy was going to be.
yeah. So I think it's a smart move by the Buccaneers. It helps them free up some more, cap space for next year because
And
that
they
team.
get and they get two players for less than him.
Yeah, I mean the
Top players.
Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are looking to be the worst team in the South right now, NFC South. There's not much high expectations for them. So honestly, anything I'd say more than like 6 or 7 wins would be, a bonus for them. I don't see them being a playoff team, but I think they're getting a little better than they were last year. Last year they were a train wreck.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're gonna do this year. They just have so many holes.
And
Like
then
that
they got
offensive line is not that good. Tight end position is good for them. Wide receiver's pretty good. Running back is shaky.
mhm,
Jameis Winston is super inconsistent. It's
yeah.
crazy. He'll put up like 30 fantasy points one week, and then the next week he'll put up like 4 and have like 5 interceptions. So it's like he's very inconsistent.
Mhm.
If he was more consistent, I would say they might actually make the playoffs, but I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
when you got quarterbacks like Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Cam Newton in your division, it's hard to be inconsistent and be any good. Because
Yeah,
Drew Brees is just consistent.
Jameis is a good quarterback, but he's just inconsistent. That's the thing.
Yeah, he's not a steady. Like last year, I mean, he got benched like 2 or 3 times for Fitzpatrick. I mean, at the end of the season, he picked it up once they finally, kept him as a starter. But
Yeah.
he just makes some dumb decisions sometimes, and I feels like when he throws one interception, it just, dominoes into like 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
So he's either really hot or he's really cold. He's not like that in between. He could light the league on fire, or he could be, the dumpster fire of the league.
Yeah. If Gerald McCoy signs with the Browns, that could probably be the best defensive line in the league. Olivier Vernon, Myles Garrett, Sheldon Richardson, and then you add Gerald McCoy. Richardson and McCoy, those are probably two of the best defensive tackles in the league. Top 5. If they're not both top 5, then they're definitely top 10 defensive tackles in the league.
Yeah, I think.
And then you add Myles Garrett, who's still young and he can produce at a top level. Olivier Vernon, he hasn't produced as well, but he still has tons of upside.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's crazy at defensive line. And then you add Schobert behind them as the middle linebacker, who's very underrated. That's a good defense. I like that.
The Browns, I think they're going all in for the next year or two because they're getting all these big guys. Then when
it's crazy because they still have cap space.
Yeah, they do now. And then that's the thing that they're going to run into because this year you're not paying for Odell Beckham's contract as much. You're not paying him that much.
You're gonna have to sign a lot of people after that. You're gonna have to sign, depending on what happens with Hunt, you're gonna have to sign Chubb, Mayfield. That's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
He could end up being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Well, you see Dak Prescott wanting $30 million a year. I mean, just imagine what Baker Mayfield's going to get because Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. He's going to command
a lot. Even David Njoku, tight end, he's going to want a lot. Then you got Landry, you got OBJ. That's why I don't see this team being like a Patriots where they rule for about 15 years. I see them like less than 5 years running the NFL, but then other than that, it's I don't know. It's like the Warriors.
It's every season is they gotta go somewhere. They can't waste they can't spend this season to miss the playoffs. Then you're just wasting a year because, like you said, it's a short term game. Like this is like a 3, 4, 5 year construction to go for it all, win 2 or 3 Super Bowls. But after that, you're not gonna have the money to.
Yeah, football. You only have a window of about 2-3 years. If you have a window of over like 5 or more years, that's a big window to win a Super Bowl, but usually it's around like 2 or 3 years to win a Super Bowl.
Because even like with the Patriots, they make the playoffs every year, but there was from 2004 to 14 where they didn't win a Super Bowl. Yeah, so that just shows how and good also the NFL is.
Schedule. You got to think they're facing the Dolphins twice, the Bills twice, the Jets twice every year. That's 6 games against teams who are usually not over 500.
Yeah,
usually definitely not over 500. Even if they are, they're what 9-7. So I mean, they're not facing top talent. Even I get it's interdivisional. Sometimes they'll win, sometimes they don't. It's still easy teams. Look at the quarterbacks they face in the past 15 years.
Yeah, it's just oh my God! What the most success was Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez. That was it. They haven't faced a top talented quarterback, even like running backs that they face. Le'Veon Bell's going to be the best running back they faced in.
And that's even if he's on the roster. That's if they don't trade him.
Yeah. I don't know. They always even outside of their division, they always face really easy teams. Like if you look at easiest schedule every year, the past couple of years, Patriots have had the easiest.
Yeah, no, they're definitely up there for easiest this year. I think this year's a little tougher. They got to play the NFC East, and I can't remember the division.
But if you look at the past couple of years, they've been guaranteed at least 9 wins every year.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Guaranteed. You're guaranteed at least 5 in your, or at most like 5 in your division.
And even if they win 9 games, that's good enough to win the division.
Yeah, that's still good enough to win a division. That's the thing. And even outside, they always face like scrub teams.
Yeah, because you're getting like the 2 bottom teams of like an AFC division and the bottom teams in an NFC division. That's like 4 more wins right there. So there's 13 wins. That's how they get 13 wins.
That's what I'm saying is they face a bunch of easy teams.
And then literally none of their players seem to get hurt a lot. Like they had Edelman go down, a couple of years ago, but other than that, the Patriots seem to be one of the healthiest teams.
Oh, they always have a healthy team. You look at Brady, never injured. The only thing they've really had a problem with was just Gronkowski.
Yeah.
That was it. but
and they're able to.
yeah, they never really had injuries.
And you got other teams that just get depleted with injuries before the season even starts. So I think they have. I don't know if it's just the fact that they run smart, a smart system, or their conditioning is good, but they stay healthy. Brady, all the years he's played, he's missed one season, and that's because he took a cheap shot to the lower leg at week 1 in 08.
Yeah, I don't know. They always seem to have like an easy schedule. I don't know. That's what people say. Oh, this and the other. It's like they basically get handed the playoffs every year.
And then
And even when they do play in
usually
the playoffs, they don't win by that much. They don't dominate the playoff. Go look at their Super Bowl wins. Their Super Bowl wins are not mighty wins.
This Super Bowl win, this past one was literally their biggest margin of victory at 10, and they scored 13 points.
Yeah. And even when they beat the Falcons, they came back. Falcons choked everyone.
Yeah, like
the Patriots didn't win. The Falcons lost.
Yeah.
That's what I always said. I don't know. Even their losses against the Giants, they lost by 3 points each game.
Yeah.
So I mean, Patriots haven't really been that dominant in the playoffs, even when they beat the Chiefs.
I mean, the Chiefs did. I even want to say the Chiefs lost that game. I mean, D Ford was lined up offsides on the game-winning interception. I mean, that was it.
Yeah, but even go look at their Super Bowl history. They're not a dominant team in the playoffs. Sometimes they'll struggle. They'll have close games, or they'll pull away at the end. You know, they don't have those 20, 30-point wins that people say they're a big team. They show their true colors in the playoffs, and they just get by.
Yeah, I mean, they should have lost to the Seahawks, the Falcons. I mean, they should have more. They should have 5 Super Bowl losses at least.
Bingo. They should have lost against the Seahawks. Should have lost against the Falcons. The Rams should have beat them. The Rams just played like Patriots scored 13 points. You'd think they'd lose on that, but in my opinion, I think they should have lost all 3 of those.
Yeah.
But I know all these Patriots fans, well, they should have, but they didn't. I get that aspect of it, but I'm just saying that looking at it, they should have lost. I know they didn't. I know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, all that stuff. But looking at it, should have lost.
Yeah.
We'll get into the MLB now. Yoenis Cespedes had season-ending surgery on his right ankle after he broke it when he fell on his ranch in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I heard something that he fell in a hole, or he rolled his ankle in a hole. He suffered multiple fractures throughout his right ankle. Big blow for the Mets because he was supposed to come back and produce. Even though they're not going to make the playoffs, it's still hope. But their outfield is just a wreck. Now losing him, I don't know what they're going to do. But this is just a crazy story.
I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. Like, it's just unbelievable. Just all the turmoil the Mets have been going through the past weekend, and this just adds on to it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Last week I was talking about, the Mets, had a 10-game stretch where, they needed to, pull things together, and then they go out and get swept by the Marlins. So the Mets just, I don't know what that team, they were so up and down everywhere, sideways, diagonal. I mean,
it's an interesting team, and they just put Cano and McNeil on the IL, so now they're going to be even, more than an infield and outfield because McNeil plays left field. So, I mean, that team is just depleted right now.
Then he had the whole controversy with Cano, not hustling, and then he hustles to first base and gets injured. Like, you just can't make this stuff up. Only the Mets.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. But Yoenis Cespedes, that's a big hit for them. Even though they're not going to make the playoffs, he's still a corner piece of that team. Who knows what's going to happen with the Mets? And it's crazy because they had such a good offseason, and people were like, wow, they actually might win the division. But I feel like they should have made more moves in the offseason. You know what I mean? I think they should have went out and gotten an outfielder instead of Wilson Ramos. I really didn't think they needed a catcher. Outfield was a bigger need than catcher.
Then you look at it, and then we looked at the NL East, and we thought 4-team race for that division. Now the Nationals and Mets are just fading away. So now you're going to look at the Phillies and the Braves fighting it out.
Yeah, the outlook was the 4-team race, but really only people saw Braves and Phillies. We even said that on the podcast. We said, yeah, it's probably either – I remember I said it too. I said it's probably going to only come down to Braves and Phillies, but I took the Phillies. The Phillies have such a good lineup. Their bullpen it's average. It's pretty good. Their starting rotation is just not doing good. Nola's having an year. Not as good as last year. But he's still having a good year. I have him on fantasy. He's doing pretty good. I'm starting undefeated in fantasy too. I'm 7-0. So
yeah, just don't go undefeated and then lose it in the final.
Again, I know I did that for hockey. I don't really care. Winning that championship really didn't mean anything to me. Just the fact that I went 22-0 in the regular season.
That's insane. I mean, I can't even make it, 5-0 without getting just shut down with injuries. But.
Yeah, I don't even have any. I think I've only had 2 people on the IL. I've had no pitchers on the IL. I have Simmons right now. Before that was only Buster Posey, so I've only had 2 people. And Posey was only on the 7-day IL for his concussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And Simmons now, I'm fine. Simmons he's only going to be out a week, I think, maybe a little bit more than that. But, dude, I fleeced Steve in a trade. I got Maikel Franco, and I traded him Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, he got put on the 10-day IL. And then I knew he was going to be put on the IL too, and I traded him right before it.
I saw that. I was like, he stole one there.
Dude, he got fleeced. Dude, and look at 10% of leagues have dropped him in the past couple of days. Now he's under 50% owned in leagues. And he started the season out hitting like 290. Now he's hitting 250. And he just keeps going down. I looked at his game, like the past 10 games. He's only had, I think, like 1 hit. So I was like, damn, I need to trade him because he's just going to go to – because, like, Yandy Diaz, if you look the past couple seasons, he's not that good. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was going to be a flash in the pan for him, a good start, and then he was kind of just going to fall off. Franco, he's been consistent. Mm-hmm. He doesn't hit 290. He's not a crazy hitter. He'll hit like 260, 270 and get you like 30 home runs and like 80 RBIs. So I'm like, all right, I need one of those guys in my lineup because I need a guy who could hit home runs consistently.
Yeah, he'll get you some points, just a nice added points.
Yeah, he'll give you those bursts of like 7 points, but then he'll give you like maybe like 2 here and there. Yeah, but I like trading Franco. Diaz for Franco. I was laughing when he accepted it, but it's whatever. We're going to get onto the NHL now. Stanley Cup thoughts and predictions. I don't even need to pull it up because there's only 2 teams left. Thank you. It wasn't the Sharks. It's going to be Bruins and Blues, the B and the B.
I saw your prediction.
It's either going to be the Blues are going to sweep or the Blues are going to win in 7. I don't think the Bruins are going to win. Knowing my luck, the Bruins are going to win in like 5 or something like that. But
I think it's an interesting matchup. I don't think anyone saw this matchup coming in.
Yeah, definitely a weird matchup.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Tuukka Rask, he was ass in the regular season, and then you get to the playoffs, and he's like insane.
I compare him to like a Braden Holtby. Braden Holtby was last year when the Capitals won the Stanley Cup in the regular season, and they even benched him for the first game. And Philip Grubauer goes in and he is awful, so they put Holtby, and then he just turned the Jets, and he went insane, and they won the Stanley Cup. I think this one goes 7. I gotta go Bruins in 7. I don't want Bruins in 7, but I'm gonna go with Bruins in 7.
My philosophy behind my prediction. Of course, everyone knows about the sweep thing. Islanders sweep the Penguins, and then they got swept by the Hurricanes. Yep. And the Hurricanes got swept by Boston. So that's why I have, Blues probably sweeping. But then here's my thing: they went 6 games with Nashville, beat them 4-2, and then they went 7 with Dallas, and then 6 with San Jose. So if you do the math, 6, 7, 6, what's next? 7.
Yeah.
So they're either going to go 4 or 7.
And the only thing that gets me is if it goes 7, I got the Bruins just because they'll have home ice. That's the only thing
that's why I have. There. It's either going to be on, I don't know, I just think it falls in the Blues' lap because they went 6 in the first round, 7 in the second, and then 6 in the conference finals. I think they're either going to go 7 or 4.
I think if the Blues get game 1, it's going to be hard for the Bruins to come back from that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good series. Jordan Bennington's got to step up
Yeah,
big
no, he
time.
definitely does. Uh, yeah, the Blues are they've been that they've been a
The team
playoff
that
team.
hasn't really gotten there.
They've been in the playoffs almost every year, but they just never get over that hump, and now they're there. And game one on Monday night, I mean, if they come out firing and get a quick start on the Bruins, that could set the tone for the whole series.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a good series. When do they start? I didn't even look at the schedule for that
Yeah,
yet.
Monday night at 8.
Monday night at 8.
They
Trying
go
to think
Monday, Wednesday, then
what
they
I'm
wait till
doing Monday.
Saturday.
I'll be watching that. Hopefully it's good.
No, it definitely should be. I mean, similar records. They've both, played well in the playoffs. I think the fact that the Bruins haven't played in a while, that could hurt them.
It
They
could
could be
either
rusty.
really, it could either be a huge help or it could be devastating to them.
I think that happened to the Islanders in the first round. I think they sat for way too long and they just
Yeah.
could never get going again, while Carolina was consistently playing.
Yeah, but if I had to I don't know. I got to take the Blues in 7.
I got Bruins in 7. I think it's going to go 6 at the least, but 7 I think is a safe bet to go with.
Or they got Blues sweeping or Blues in 7. For my math. If it happens, I look like a genius. If it doesn't happen, it's whatever because it's 7 games. So,
Yeah.
we're going to get into the NBA now. Kevin Durant is unlikely to play for the start of the NBA Finals. Warriors are hopeful that he plays at all. Do they need him?
No.
No. Would they like him? Of course. Who wouldn't want Kevin Durant? Is this a big blow for the Knicks? Bigger than the Warriors? Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy that this is a bigger blow to a team he's not even on than the one he's actually on. If they face the Raptors, that's an easy blow over. To me, Lowry doesn't have what it takes. Marc Gasol,
not much
and
there.
also look at Cousins. They said Cousins could probably come back for this.
Yeah, I think he said he's determined to play. So
the only thing the Raptors would have is they're going to have home court advantage. That's really the only thing they have going for them. I guess people will say, "Oh, Kawhi." It's like people forget Warriors probably have the best defense in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, Clay's really good. And, he's going to lock him down. Curry's no slouch, on the perimeter.
Dude, he's going to shut down Lowry. Draymond is probably going to shut down Gasol. That leaves Iguodala to probably guard, Kawhi. That's probably going to, in my opinion, that's going to be the matchup of the series. If Durant is there, obviously it's still going to be Leonard and Durant. But even if it's Iguodala and Leonard, that's still a great matchup defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see Iguodala getting anything. And, I mean, Kawhi, I think he has more potential to outperform Iguodala, but obviously Iguodala is no slouch on defense either. So, like I said, like you said, good matchup on defense. But I just don't think, they can keep up with, Curry, Thompson. I don't think they could stop him, shut him down.
Yeah, and then you look at that. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs, our thoughts now, since we're talking about Durant and the Warriors. Raptors are up 3-2. You think they get it done?
I got 7. I just don't think the Bucks are going to lose 4 in a row like that. It's insane because we were looking.
I think the Bucks have a better because Bucks, they probably have one of the best defenses as well. They're lengthy. They play great defense. They shoot anybody in their lineup can shoot the 3 ball.
Yeah.
So it's just a great team all around. I'll compare them to the Warriors. I think if the Bucks go up against the Warriors and the Warriors don't have Kevin Durant or DeMarcus Cousins, that's going to be tough because I don't think Draymond can stop Giannis. No. And also you look at Brook Lopez, who's going to guard him? Brook Lopez has been a force the past couple games.
Yeah, definitely.
He's been good. Bledsoe's been good. You look at Brogdon versus Thompson. That could probably be the matchup of the entire playoffs.
Yeah.
Brogdon can shoot the 3 consistently. Bledsoe can. Brook Lopez, their center, can. Chris Middleton.
I think
they got tons of scorers on that team. Lopez, he could score 20 easily. Middleton can score 20. Giannis, Brogdon, everyone in their lineup can score 20, 25. even 30.
I think just the only problem when it comes to these guys, either the Raptors or the Bucks, is they just don't have the experience. And I think
Yeah, experience
that's
is going to
gonna
kill.
hurt. That's
But
gonna
as I
kill
always
them.
say, the sport is the sport. You're still playing the same sport you've played for years. It's still basketball at the end of the day. It's still the ball. It's still the hoop. It's still the same game.
Like I think that's what killed the Rams when they made the Super Bowl. They had zero experience and they just couldn't handle the moment.
Yeah, it also that's a little factor of it. I mean, I wouldn't say it comes down to that, but it is a little bit of a factor that goes into it. But I don't think that's, everything when it comes to, these big playoff games.
I think either way, I think the Warriors win in 5, no matter what team they play. I think they win 5 and win in
Yeah.
5. I just don't think neither of them could stretch the Warriors to 7 or even beat them. I just can't see
Well,
it.
the Trailblazers, they should have beat the Warriors, to be honest. They had 3 games of 17 or higher leads, and they blew. That's 3 games out of the 4 that they had a 17 or higher lead, and they blew all of them in the second half.
Yeah, the Blazers led the series more than the Warriors.
That's what I'm saying. If they just closed out and they just played well, they would have won all 3 of those games. Even if you take one of those away, it's a 2-2 series. Then it's best of 3.
Yeah. So
I mean, what else can you ask for?
I feel like the Warriors they're a beatable team, but no one can just finish the job. They just can't finish.
Oh, it's crazy. If you look at the Warriors, they're not that good of a first half team. You look at them in the second half, they're probably one of the best teams of all time in the second half, let alone
when their opponent cools off, they take advantage of it so quickly, and before you know it, I mean they're scoring, they're outscoring you 20-5 in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. I want to see Bucks Warriors. I want to see that series.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It'd be so fun. I want to see Durant versus Giannis.
That'd be crazy.
Durant versus Kawhi would be cool, but Giannis is more flashy to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's more defense, and it's I don't know. I don't even think Durant plays, to be honest.
I don't think he plays either. I think if anything, he'll come back in like a game 6 or something like that. Some crazy, or it's tied 2-2. They need a pivotal player, and Durant comes back and finish it out, and then he'll get Finals MVP. Some crazy storyline like that. But other than that, I don't see Durant playing in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, like if the Warriors jump out to a 2-0, 3-0 lead, like they're probably just gonna say, just sit down. Like there's no reason. We don't need it.
Unless they activate him and keep him there just in case they get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean they could. Like you said, if the series is a little too close for comfort, I think they'll get him in. Like maybe if they get to a 3-0 lead, they activate him for game 4. If they get a good lead, they throw him in for the end or whatever, maybe, or something stupid like that.
I don't know. I just hope it's a good series in the NBA Finals. The past couple of years have been awful.
Yeah, I mean, these playoffs have been better than I expected.
Hopefully. It was just the first round. First round sucked. Second round was really good. Third round, it's been all right. I mean, you look at it, Bucks let me go back to the bracket. Break this down. Bracket. You look at it. First round sucked. Second round, it was really good except for Bucks and Celtics. All the other series were really good. Then you look at the conference finals. Golden State and Blazers. It was good to a certain extent, I guess you could say, because of the Warriors' comebacks. But that's not the way that people wanted to see it. They wanted to see Portland win it, but that series sucked. Milwaukee and Toronto. That series has really been not that good.
Yeah, and it's really been messy. A lot of blowouts.
Yeah, Bucks killed them the first 2 games, and the last 3 games have been sloppy in favor of the Raptors.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really hasn't been that entertaining because, I mean, you see a 2-game win streak and then a 3-game win streak. That's not what you want to see in the playoffs. You want to see back and forth. You want to see 2 games, 1 game, 2 games. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't want to see, these streaks. Because then it gets boring. But the only thing that's really been good is just the second round. Third round conference finals has been all right. I mean, nothing crazy. So we're gonna get into the halftime viewer mail now. But if I had to choose of who I want, as I said before, Bucks Warriors. Right now, I want the Bucks to beat the Raptors. But as it's looking right now, it's most likely probably going to be the Raptors. But if it's Raptors and Warriors, that's probably going to be a very low-rated finals.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'd have to pick the Warriors there, probably in 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So we got halftime viewer mail. Do you think the Mets can carry this sweep of the Nationals into a sweep of the Tigers? This is from Dave in Connecticut. I think obviously Twins are a very unpredictable team. As I said past couple weeks, young teams are the most unpredictable teams because you don't know what a young team can do. You don't know how they can grow, et cetera, et cetera. But I think they can easily sweep the Tigers because Tigers really don't have much. But all these injuries for the Mets, I think Mets will win the series 2-1.
Yeah, I think they could. They need to. When's the next time the Mets play a really good team? Gotta see, because that's going to be a big benchmark of where they're at. Like them playing the Tigers isn't like a big team. Like Tigers are 11 games under 500.
Mets are 3 games back in the wild card. If they sweep the Tigers, they're in the wild card. Like they'll own a wild card spot.
Oh, well, they got to play. After that, they go to L.A. for 4 against the Dodgers. Now, that's going to be a real test.
That's going to be probably their biggest test of the year. But they're only 4.5 back in the division. They're 1 game under 500.
Like I said last week, I feel like everyone's overreacting with the Mets. They're almost acting as if the Mets are like 15 games out already and the season's over. Like, they could easily just go on a tear here, out of nowhere with these young guys and realistically be in the wild card spot or the division lead. Like, by no means is their season over already in May.
No. This next halftime viewer mail question. What do you think the Yankees do when everyone comes back? This is from Nick in Ontario, Canada. What they do, they're going to have to start trading people, to be honest, because there's no way you can send all these people back down to the minors. What I would do, I would trade Urshela. If he's still doing good, I would trade him for a starting pitching piece. I've heard that the Giants have been at Yankees and Phillies minor league games because they might be trading Bumgarner to one of those teams. So who knows if they send Urshela to the Giants. I mean, I would just trade people, to be honest.
I mean, I'd prefer Urshela over Andujar. But obviously, no one's going to want Andujar right now with him, laid up.
Well, Tulowitzki's getting some reps at third base, so they might even just be sending Urshela down and just putting Tulowitzki at third. I would say, and then Didi's coming back in June.
I think you can't get rid of Urshela. I feel like he's got to be up there right now. Like,
yeah, so what they're gearing for is basically Tulo at third, short you have Didi, and second they're going to put Gleiber and then Voit at first.
Or you make Tulowitzki the first baseman, and then you throw Voit as your DH.
And then you could put LeMahieu at third.
LeMahieu's going to be your revolving. Like that's where they can, use give Didi a day, Glaber a day.
I think the only people that would be getting rest, if anything, would be Tulowitzki and Didi. That's it. I would Voit occasionally. He'll probably get a day off, but I think they're going to keep Torres every single day at second base.
Yeah,
unless they move him to shortstop. But other than that, I don't see him coming out of the lineup.
Yeah, no, Glaber's going to be that guy as long as he stays healthy to play 150 games minimum. They're giving him his days now, obviously, while they can, because when everyone comes back, I mean, Didi's going to need, more days off than everyone else because you don't want to, put his body into an everyday mode right off the bat. Tulowitzki's going to need his rest. But that's why it's good because you got depth in that infield. I mean, you got Urshela who can play, LeMahieu who can play. It's amazing. They brought in LeMahieu. He wasn't even supposed to be a starter, and now he's got basically the highest average on the team, and he's got probably the best glove on the team too. So,
yeah, he has. Where is it? He has the 11th best average in the MLB overall.
I think Urshela's up there too, and those are two guys they picked up weren't even planning on being starters.
Because if you look at their roster, first base, you have Voit, who's been there every day. Greg Bird is hurt, but he's a scrub anyway. Estrada's he can go down. I don't have a problem with him going down. The only person I really have a problem with is Urshela.
I think like I said, if a team wants Andujar now, you get rid of him. I think Urshela is better than Andujar.
I wouldn't trade Urshela. I mean, I wouldn't trade Andujar like that because if I could see if Urshela has a couple years of consistency, but this is 41. He's played in 41 games. So you're just going to trade Andujar off of a guy who's played 41 games this year? You look at his past years. Urshela's hit 233, 224, 225.
I think the Yankees just a good fit for him. I think you just let it ride to the end of the season and make a decision because you can't.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade Andujar halfway through the season. I would trade him. I mean, I could see if Urshela walks out of the season and he's hitting above 290, then I would have a conversation and I would say, all right, so should we trade Andujar or should we just keep Urshela as like a bench guy and have him be the rotational piece? Because you got to think of it too. Probably trade Bird, maybe Voit. I mean, I'm not saying they should trade Voit, but you know, what if there's a first baseman that's there available for trade?
I mean, after the season, at this pace, I think LeMahieu needs to be re-signed to a big contract.
Because when you get to that conversation about Voit too, you look at his past, accomplishments. He hit 246, 182, and then last year he hit 333 in 39 games. And then this year he's hitting 260 in 50 games. So that's another conversation. Do you sell high or do you keep him? So there's a lot of those questionable things in this lineup and on this roster for the Yankees. You're going to have a problem in the outfield when Stanton and Judge come back. Also, you have to look at Kendrys Morales, who they have now as their DH. So
yeah, it's just no problems are ever good, but it's a good problem.
It's a good problem. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of bodies who can produce at any time, any day. It's a good problem to have, but it's a very stressful problem.
And it's crazy, if, you don't know when Judge is coming back. Could be after the All-Star break.
I think he'll be after the All-Star break. Montgomery, he's going to be back in June. So that's another, young starting pitching piece that could definitely help the starting rotation. But a lot of questions for this Yankees team.
It's amazing what they're doing. Like they have the second best record in baseball with a bunch of guys that you look at and you're like, who? Like, what are they doing? Like
Morales, Luke Voit, Gio Urshela. I mean, come on. Brett Gardner, who's been trash lately.
Yeah.
I mean, and, you look at Gary Sanchez, who's having an all right year, but you take his home runs away. He's not a key hitter. He's just a power hitter.
He's gotten a lot better at fielding, though. I'll give him that. He's worked on that. He's not giving up those pass balls. But I think, Gleyber Torres, if it wasn't for Aaron Judge, he'd be the face of the franchise. I think Gleyber Torres is the best player on that roster right now, actively on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Because he could do everything. He's got the power, he's got the average, he's got the field. I mean, him and LeMahieu, best two on the team right now.
Easily. I like that. So we're going to get into the quick pitch. This is when things get a little bit quick, but we'll talk on some stuff, but usually it's just rapid fire. That's why we call it the quick pitch. Mets signed starting pitcher Irvin Santana to a minor league contract. He's probably going to get released in the next couple of days. I guarantee it. That always happens. They'll sign someone to a minor league contract, and they get released in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Always happens. The Braves acquired right-handed pitcher Anthony Swarzak and cash from the Mariners for right-handed pitcher Arodys Vizcaino and left-handed pitcher Jesse Biddle.
Anthony Swarzak's a bum. I had him on my fantasy team. Just garbage.
He's good. He's just very inconsistent. Padres and Diamondbacks will play a series in Mexico City next year. Orioles are looking to trade for starting pitchers. I don't know why. Orioles acquired outfielder Keon Broxton from the Mets. Mets then claimed Aaron Arthur. from the Phillies. Actually, he was technically on the Giants for a little bit, but then he got released. He's only there for like a day, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Jays released outfielder Ben Revere. The British are coming. The Rockies starting pitcher Tyler Anderson is going to have surgery on his left knee. He could miss the rest of the season. Relieving pitcher Koji Uehara retired from the MLB. Cardinals released right-handed pitcher Luke Gregerson. Athletics signed catcher Cameron Rupp to a minor league contract. Padres tried to trade for Indian starting pitcher Trevor Bauer at the start of the season. Padres are still looking for a top starter at the top-end starter via trade or signing. The Braves released relieving pitcher Johnny Venters. In Atlanta is going to host a 2021 MLB All-Star Game. Now we're going to get into the NBA. Trailblazers signed head coach Terry Stotts to a contract extension. Knicks point guard Frank Ntilikina wants to be traded out of New York. Bye-bye. Timberwolves named Brian Saunders as their full-time head coach. Tyreek Evans was banned from the NBA for violating the league's anti-drug policy. Now in our other category, Michigan hired Juwan Howard to a 5-year contract to be their new head coach. Brooks Koepka won the 2019 PGA Championship. Rafael Nadal won the Rome Masters 1000 title. Kyle Larson won the All-Star race. William Byron won the pole for the Coca-Cola 600. Now in NHL news, Rangers named John Davidson as their new president. Senators hired DJ Smith as their new head coach. Now into the NFL. Cleveland will host the 2021 NFL Draft. Kansas City will host the 2023 NFL Draft. The Redskins signed linebacker John Bostic after the whole Reuben Foster conundrum. Raiders released quarterback Landry Jones. The Saints signed offensive tackle Marshall Newhouse. Patriots re-signed defensive tackle Danny Shelton. Patriots recently signed offensive tackle Jared Veldheer is retiring from the NFL. I don't know. What's the point of signing with the team, going through the whole process, and then literally not even a week later, you tell them that you're retiring?
Makes zero sense.
They better get their money back because that's bullshit if they sign him and then, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know when exactly they pay the players when they sign the contract. Like, I don't think it's like straight up.
Well, it depends on the structure of the contract because some players, they have it as game checks and others have it as guaranteed money and then paid out through the year in terms of a 4-week contract type of thing. But I don't know. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz will have no limitations in OTAs. Cowboys have open contract extension talks with middle linebacker Jalen Smith. Patriots signed wide receiver Julian Edelman to a 2-year, $18 million contract extension. Defensive end Chris Long retired from the NFL. 49ers defensive back Jimmy Ward broke his collarbone in OTAs, will be out 8 to 12 weeks. Falcons defensive end Steven Means tore his Achilles in OTAs and will miss the 2019 season. Bills tight end Tyler Kroft broke his foot in OTAs and will need surgery. Timetable is unknown. Bills signed defensive end Jerry Hughes to a 2-year, $23 million contract extension. Raiders signed tight end Eric Swoop to a 1-year contract. Jets signed wide receiver Deontay Thompson. Texans released tight end Ryan Griffin. Offensive lineman Travis Swanson retired from the NFL. Vikings have offered tight end Kyler Rudolph to a 5-year extension. Talks are still ongoing. Packers safety Josh Jones wants to be traded. Now, a player I've never even fucking heard of wants to be traded. What? If you've never been heard of, why are you requesting a trade? No one's going to want you. You don't just request a trade if you barely play. It's like Sean Livingston, I want to be traded. Or Frank Ntilikina, I want to be traded. Okay? Like, no, you don't request a trade if you're a fucking scrub.
He only wants to be traded because he knows the possibility of Kyrie Irving coming. He doesn't want to come off the bench.
Yeah. He would be coming off the bench anyway. Scrub. Last but not least, we saved the best for last. The Jets signed punter Matt Darr. That's a big one.
Huge signing for the Jets. I think that one puts them over the top. Super Bowl favorites now.
That's why I put that one last. That's it for the Open Table Sports podcast. Went a little bit under an hour, about 45 minutes-ish. There wasn't that much this week, as you could tell, because we started off talking about Reuben Foster. And we ended with a punter signing. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you send in that halftime viewer mail. If you see our tweets, just send in any stupid question you have. We don't really care. It could be a smart question, stupid question. We don't care. But that's it. Make sure you follow us, Open Table Sports, on all social media facets. My social media handle is Degnan_Matt. That's last name first, or if you want to say first name last. What is yours, Dom Caps?
On Twitter, follow me at DomCaps11. No capitals, no spaces, just DomCaps11.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, I'll be at Falcon 4 in New York City with Big Daddy, Paul Perez, and Mario Mancini. We're taking over. There's going to be porn stars there. There's going to be wrestlers. There's going to be actors. There's going to be athletes. Everyone's going to be there. Falcon 4. Don't miss it. And then June 7th and 8th, I'll be in Warwick, Rhode Island for New England Fan Fest 7. And then for the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Big Daddy's going to be getting inducted. That's Big Daddy Gok, G-O-C, on Twitter. So I'll be there for that. I'll be doing some interviews, whatever it may be. It's going to be fun. I'm actually bringing my dog with me because it's a
Kylie's going?
hotel. Yeah, pet-friendly hotel. So Kylie's going to be rolling with me.
Where's we going to get that MCK podcast live next week? Going to get that live next week at Falcon 4?
We might be doing a podcast there. I don't know. I know we're going to be getting involved. There's going to be some wrestling matches there. So it's definitely going to be fun in New York City. You'll be seeing a lot of pictures and videos from the four of us.
I can't wait to see it all.
Yeah, we're going to do promos. Oh, we're going to do such stupid shit in New York City. It's going to be crazy. We're going to try to – Big Daddy says he wants to take over Madison Square Garden when there's going to be nothing going on there. So so we'll see. It's definitely going to be a fun weekend next Saturday in New York City with 3 former WWE, WWF wrestlers and managers. So it's going to be fun for me at the age of 19 being around all of these guys. It's going to be free food. There's going to be porn stars. So who knows what's going to happen there.
Living a life.
But, yeah, it'll be fun next week. We got Double or Nothing tomorrow night. Las Vegas is going to be fun. I'll be watching that on pay-per-view. Do not miss that. I was at Money in the Bank last Sunday. I was pissed about the event. I went with Kyle. It was pretty fun. But yeah, Brock Lesnar winning that Money in the Bank briefcase at the end of the show really put a damper on it. But overall, it was a pretty decent show. I gave it about a 7, so it was about an average. But that's it, everyone. Next week, we should be back, depending on what I'm doing. I'm actually going to see a medium today.
Okay.
Gets spooky. But next week, we'll be back for the Open Table Sports Podcast, episode 22. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Make sure you follow Open Table Sports on all social media. Thank you.